everybody, and welcome back to the Maybon Perspective. We are glad to be back here. Another month done.
Yes, we are.
We're heading into, I would say, the most two exciting months of the year, especially for moms. It's when all the magic happens. So we've had some magical real estate months, but now it's time for everything to get a little bit chillier,
Yep.
a little bit happier, a little bit more tinseled, if you will. So as the real estate market has had such an exciting second half start of the year, we wanted to bring to you guys kind of how we finished up Q3 and into October. So let's talk about the market, John. What are we seeing and how did we close out as a whole in the Augusta and Aiken market Q3?
Sure. It's, when I think about this market, really the word that comes to my mind is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has been just steady as she goes for the last really couple of years. But the neat thing that jumped out this quarter for the third quarter, particularly the month of September, is we had a big September and we were closed sales as a market over in Aiken were up for the month of September over last September by about 27%, and then close to 20% over in the Augusta market.
Oh, that's great.
So in numbers, basically that means there was about 160 more transactions than there was last September. All that to say, we needed that big September to kind of catch up year to date.
Right.
So now coming year to date, we're about even from last year.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Good quarter, and particularly September, a good month.
Well, that's good. And I think, sometimes, especially in this market, because we start school so early. I mean, we started that first week of August. So you kind of look at some of the dead zones of where people are a little bit more hesitant to make that move, or maybe they push to make it right after that. So September certainly was exciting. We had a lot of agents that had their best months, not only of the year, but some of them for their career so far. So that was exciting to see. And we definitely had some happy clients that were moving and able to get kind of that listing price that they were hoping to get. Tell us a little bit about what that held inventory, or how many listings did we have on the market? And did either of the markets stand out as far as Augusta or Aiken, or were they both kind of on par?
Percentage wise, they run pretty much in sync.
Okay.
But I did notice that we're achieving back to pre-COVID levels of active inventory.
Okay.
So again, what that means in numbers is there's roughly 2,500 homes for sale in the Augusta MLS.
Okay.
And about, I think around 1,200 in the Aiken market.
Okay.
I've got it here. That's close.
Yeah.
We're running inventory about 1,200 in Aiken.
Okay.
And 2,500 in Augusta.
Yeah. So that's kind of a healthy market for us over on both sides of the river right now.
Yeah. It's back to pre-COVID.
Okay. Well, and again, we don't ever remember pre-COVID until we look at numbers like that and we can reflect. Right. I think that's the great thing about Maybon is we have so much data. We're able to kind of walk our agents through. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, we've been through this type of market. This is normal. This is a normal market. And I think, as home buyers and home sellers, we also have to remember that this is normal for our market. We are primed for continued growth with all the activity we have going on economically here, but we also have to remember that we are a smaller market. And so when you see these big news articles from DC and New York and some of these big cities, we kind of have to pare that down. So that's been exciting to see. But let's talk about housing prices. Speaking of that bubble, how are we looking across both states? And are you seeing kind of equal to previous months? Are you seeing a little bit of a dip or a spike? The summer boom, everybody assumes is going to be short-lived, but how are we looking?
Sure. Again, consistency. I mean, our market is always, even going way back to the recession of 2008. I mean, our market just kind of moves along steady and strong.
Right.
And so we're still, average price in the Augusta side is 320 some odd thousand.
Yeah.
Up more, a little over 350 in Aiken.
Okay.
Aiken always runs a little bit higher.
Right.
And that stays steady. So percentage wise, it's up a couple of percent, 3 to 4% over last year.
Yeah.
So our home prices continue to climb a little bit.
Yeah.
But nothing extreme one way or the other.
Well, and I think obviously when we look at kind of that percentage, I can see the percentage of price received based off of list price. That's still very high. I mean, you're looking 96, 98%. So that means listings are being priced correctly across the markets. And also people, that are buying are also being advised by their realtors that these are priced well. They are doing the comps. They are looking across the board, which is great because you don't want to see that spike where no one can afford it because they're so overpriced or get appraised, right? Because then you run into that issue. So that's exciting. What can you see when you look at those average days on market? I always like to look at that number. What do you see as we move into November and December? Are you seeing an uptick in that these houses are sitting,
Just slightly.
Okay.
Slightly. I mean, we're still running 100 days on the month.
Couple months.
About 100 days on the market.
Okay.
And so that's, again, hate to use the word again, consistent.
Yep.
So, no, all that looks good. The housing affordability index is down a little bit.
Okay.
But that's not so much, I don't think, because of our economy. That's more the interest rates play a part in that.
That's right. Very true.
So, we're down a little bit there, but as those rates continue, we hope to come down. That will level out as well.
And we talked about that before we got started. We've got a great Maybell Mortgage team that we need to get in the studio. I know they've talked to a couple of our agents on podcasts, but you and I probably need to bring them in, when we wrap up the year, just to kind of talk about what they're seeing as we move into the new year, but also the applications that they see. I'm always interested when I talk to the team about the applications that come in, what people expect, what are they expecting that they can actually afford? Because a lot of them are happily surprised that they can actually get a little more house than they were thinking. So, and again, I go back to our market and our growth. And even though some of the growth is in different areas, we've built new construction neighborhoods in Aiken that we never would have thought in different areas. We've moved out towards Appling and, towards Thompson. And that's certainly not something, if you would have asked me 10 or 12 years ago, that I would be seeing that happening.
Yeah, who would have thought it?
Nobody. Yeah. I mean, it's so it's great, but it shows the need for housing here. So that's a good place to be in for sure. Now, if I'm on the fence this time of year as we move into November and December about buying or selling and worried about holidays and, I don't know that I can make it happen. And should I try to make it happen? And interest rates are finally looking great and I'm excited, but should that concern or excite me to try to make that move before too long?
That's an interesting question because, over the years, I'll say that's let me call it a myth maybe in the real estate business because the public has the perception that, well, nobody buys or sells a house during the holidays. Nobody wants to move during Christmas. But the fact is December has been historically, we've had some of our best months as a company and as a market during the month of December.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, and there's every scenario is different. I mean, obviously, if you're in a position where you need to move, then you can't worry about the calendar. You have to do it. Right. But if you're just wanting to move, I mean, I think you treat it like any other time of year.
Okay.
If you want to do it, do it. I mean, people say it's a little inconvenient having people coming in and out to look at my house during the holidays, but it's not out of the normal. It's not out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, so nothing really different.
Okay.
Just if you want to do it, do it. The rates are great.
Right.
They're under 6%.
Right
now. Even better on FHA VA. So yeah, it's what do we always say as real estate? It's a great day to buy or sell a home.
Every day that ends in a Y.
Day,
yeah. And again, see, I look at that as if I were to be moving in the next, let's just say 30 to 45 days, I feel like that's an instant, I need all new Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a quick, Amazon trip to Target, get some new Christmas decorations. I mean, nothing says happy holidays like a new house and new Christmas decorations. So I think most of the women could probably agree with me.
Right.
You guys have to maybe put it up there, but I do know that December is certainly an interesting month for real estate. We do have a lot of agents that have, especially that week in between Christmas and New Year's. I mean, they just have killer weeks.
Yeah.
I think our loan officers and I think our closing attorneys probably work as hard as CPAs do come tax time.
They do.
To get those deals across the finish line.
The last week of the year is usually insane.
Yeah.
It means everybody trying to get stuff closed out by the end of the year.
Right. Sure.
And then, I guess it's a little different perspective from buyer or seller, but a lot of people say, well, I want to be in the house by Christmas.
Right.
Well, get started.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like cash purchase can be closed in a matter of days or a couple of weeks, but financed transaction
could take a
will
little
take
bit.
30 days or so. So, you got timing is everything.
Well, and I guess, if I'm pre-approved now, I can make it happen. I put a big red bow on it. It could happen. I think if it's the right time. And I talked to 2 agents the other day about multiple offers coming in. And I do think that we are seeing, depending on the house, but you have neighbors and you have people that run into you from all different industries that'll say, my neighbor's house has been sitting for weeks and weeks. It must be slow out there.
Yeah.
And that certainly is not the case. I think it depends on the house. I think it depends on the location.
Yeah.
But certainly there are homes available right now. We have the inventory and multiple different price points that obviously based on where your needs are, you could get in there and make it happen.
Yeah. There's really a good selection of inventory in all of our markets.
Yeah.
I was looking for somebody that's coming in town and there's a lot out there.
Yeah, all price
good
points.
Stuff. Yeah,
I agree.
A lot of good stuff.
We have had a lot of cash buys in that luxury market as well, and I think that's moved the needle on those kind of quickly on both sides of the river. But we're seeing all type of financeable loans happen as well, so that's exciting. But let's say, again, a scenario for you: if I'm looking to purchase and worried about closing, can you give me a couple pieces of advice? I know we do this kind of each time, but just in case someone hasn't heard it before, what are your number 1, 2, and 3 maybe suggestions on how you would get ready to be ready to pull the trigger basically on a home that comes on the market?
Yeah, just basic stuff. I mean, first, if you need to finance, I would get pre-qualified, get pre-approved, call Maybon Mortgage. We can handle that for you. And that gives you confidence to look.
Know your boundaries.
Yeah, it gives you confidence. It gives you credibility.
Yep.
So I would say get pre-approved first. And then I always say, as you'd expect me to say, but it's true, your agent is such a big piece of the puzzle. Make sure you got a good agent that knows the market.
Yeah.
That
Very
in
true.
this world knows how to negotiate. So, don't be afraid to interview 1 or 2 agents. So that's key. And then it's just kind of the search is on. If you're looking, just you see what's out there and go from there.
Well, and again, Christmas is a great time, as you're looking at how houses look all decorated and sparkling, Masters and Christmas, people's houses are looking the best.
Yep.
So those are great times to take a ride by. But again, I think the realtor piece cannot be overlooked. I mean, I know the pre-approved portion is very important and does need to be first, but the realtor portion, just because you're driving and you see a sign and it's twinkling and it's beautiful, make sure that you are being represented well by someone that you want to represent you.
Yeah.
And it could be the person on the sign, but very well, it needs to be somebody that you've given that opportunity to explain what they're going to do for you.
I would say you look at your real estate agent just like you do your doctor, your dentist. Sure. You have one that's your go-to.
Yeah.
And that's so important. And you hear me say this a lot, and I'm sure I've said it on these podcasts.
Yeah.
Our industry and the transaction itself is becoming so complicated.
It has been.
So many hurdles and so many twists and turns, and it's just getting complicated.
Yeah.
And it's more important than ever that you have somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
and looking out for you
as
well. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, you got to have that.
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Biggest purchase or transaction you'll make from most people.
Absolutely.
So, let's get it right.
And especially, again, if you're looking to invest, we have a lot of people this time of year trying to get a couple investments or always kind of looking, but we do see some of those closing by the end of the year. And I think that's even more important, even though you're not moving in, if you're looking for an investment portfolio add-on, whether it's residential or commercial, I think those are important things to make sure that you're getting that right advice. And I don't mean Google advice. I mean an actual person, like you said, in this market.
Well, and I am so proud of our people and our company because we really do. I mean, obviously you and I work here, so we believe this, but we've got facts to prove it. Our people are so in tune to what the market's doing. We make sure that they're up to date with the latest industry changes.
Yep.
Because it's a rapidly changing industry.
It is.
And so we got to stay on top of it.
There's a lot of pitfalls. So I think you're exactly right. It's a biggest purchase, but there's also a lot that comes into how you can misstep. So let's talk about new construction real quick before we wrap up. Sure. What is your take on kind of how we're finishing the year and moving into next year with new construction if I'm looking for new construction?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For us as a company, I'm very excited. We just had a meeting, was it yesterday or day before? And we got some exciting stuff coming next year. It's in the works now, but as anybody who knows, the development process moves slow.
Right. Sure.
So many things you got to go through to get from a raw piece of land to a house built.
This weather this week hasn't helped anything. Yeah.
So all that's in the works, but anywhere from spring into the fall of next year, we're going to have some exciting stuff coming on both sides of the river.
Yeah.
And so a lot of good inventory there. It's exciting.
That is exciting.
Really excited about new construction.
More coming in. I think, again, we have price points again that kind of range the gamut of 200s all the way up 600. So I think that's also exciting for our market, the affordability side, making sure that we can house the people that need it and, are able to bring new products, different products, great floor plans. Our builders are really stretching themselves and getting some really great, unique products that are not cookie cutter, and I think that's one thing about new construction that we've been trying to do with our new construction blueprint podcast series is, and if you haven't listened to that, I encourage you to do that, is trying to show you guys that they are not cookie cutter. They're not a Craftsman 4, 3.5 bungalow that all look the same. They are very much stunning, floor plans and elevations. So that's exciting as a company as well. But before we wrap up, let's say you have one of those magic 8 balls that never really work. Obviously, when you shake, and they never want to give you what you want. But let's say that it does give you what you want. But when you look at the holiday season and kind of kicking off 2026 with interest rates the way they are, inventory the way it is, and the agents that we've got representing our market and specifically at Maybom, kind of how are you feeling overall? What's your, 0 to 10? How are you tempering the market?
I am very optimistic about it. Again, I'm going to use the word one more time, consistent. I think we're seeing, we're going to see not a whole lot of big changes.
Right.
But again, tied to those rates, I think the Fed was meeting again, even today, and going to make some kind of announcement tomorrow. I saw an article this morning, if it was accurate, but even if they do cut at their level, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to filter down to us.
Right.
So all that, works the way it works. But I think, and again, I'm learning none of us are experts.
Yeah.
But based on what I hear and what I think, I don't see rates going up.
Right.
I see them leveling off and maybe dipping a little bit. And that's the whole key to affordability for most people.
Right.
Because not everybody can write a check for a house.
Yeah.
And so that's the key. And I think as long as that stays favorable, we're going to be fine. We've got such a great local economy. We've got great industry here with the military, the medical field. So I think we're going to have a great year.
Yeah. We've been talking about 2026 now for 12 or 18 months, knowing that that's going to probably be a little bit of a shift back to us. And I'll be honest with you, consistent is okay.
Yeah.
Consistent is happy. Consistent is comfortable. It doesn't mean we're getting complacent, but it does mean that we are staying on top of our game. And I think that's one thing at Maybom that we all try to do. Like you said, we don't feel like experts some days because everything can change in an instant. But we are constantly learning. We're lifelong learners. Our agents are lifelong learners. And as a brokerage that's invested in this community, we want to make sure we're doing everything, whether it's new construction homes, whether it's agent representation, whether it's broker support in this community. We want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to wrap our arms around kind of where we are today, knowing that we might have to change it tomorrow.
Well, as you know, and we talk about this a lot as a company and in our when we meet with our managers, I mean, it's a big responsibility for us because we are handling people's biggest transaction.
Right.
How we do that can affect their lives.
Yeah.
And so we take that very seriously. It's an honor to do that. And so we're grateful for every person out there that trusts our agents and our company to represent them.
That's right.
So we want to do that right.
Well, absolutely. And as we come into a time of thankfulness, again, we post a lot about that. We talk a lot about that. And I'm sure we'll do a podcast or 5 about being thankful. But we are truly thankful. And we're thankful for those of you that are listening and thankful for those of you that follow along. As always, you can find these market stats and stats on social media. Our agents share it. Maybom shares it. But follow along in the next couple months as we wrap up 2025 and look to 2026 and some more trends. But we thank you for following along with the Maybom Perspective, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.